So the initial conversation was how do we develop some exchange programs, correct?
I
Yes.
can take this down. No way, I can take it out.
My name Robin Lightborn.
Robin,
Robin Lightborn from the Bahamas.
thank you very much. Nilante.
Nilante.
Yes.
Anissa. All right. So initially, the conversation began where we wanted to determine how do we develop some exchange programs, right? We have a few areas specifically that we would like to develop. One of those being, and I just started, this is kind of like one of my main ones, the herbal medicine space. We have what we call bush medicine. We have experts. I mean, they could look at a plant, they could tell you everything about it, what it does to you, but it's not certified. You know what I'm saying? It's a respected space, but it's still nowhere to the level that I understand here in Ghana. So the exchange program, it's a product development exchange program.
Okay.
I want to be able to bring some of the bush medicine experts that we have in the Bahamas, bring them here to the university, bring some of you certified herbalists. You take them to the Bahamas, kind of like a trainer of a trainer, or certify some of them there so they can certify others. And then within that product development space, we could create more not pharmaceutical, but more herbal medicines that we can now be exchanging among ourselves, products, and it brings more value to our economies.
Okay.
Right, so I want to start that road, and how do we begin that? And there's a few other areas, of course, that I want to focus with the product development, but that's one of the main areas as well.
Okay. So
Why I brought here, I thought it was about food. So that
Sorry, that is I am excited about so much areas of this, right? But it is.
You're talking about food product development. That's how your name came.
Yes. Food products. So as I was explaining to them, 90% of everything in the Bahamas we import from the United States.
okay.
Most of our food comes from the United States. That is an issue because the food is not the best food, right? We are some of the highest. Our country is the highest in the Caribbean in hypertension, non-communicable diseases, diabetes, and that's directly related to the food. Right now, that doesn't mean that we don't grow our own food. There's just not enough focus or fervor towards the farmers to do that, because we're more of a capitalistic country, and we in bed with the United States. So my thing is, I'm more from the grassroots up. That I believe that if we develop these exchange programs, we can now focus more on developing our own products, developing our own food, and where I went to the herbal medicine, our food is our medicine. So we should be merging food with the medicine, you know what I'm saying? So product development in that space.
Sure. So yes, it's exciting that you come.
Yes.
Welcome. Warm welcome to you. It's great that you're here. And when you spoke about herbal medicine, I was going to mention that within Ghana we have the Mampong Center
that's
for
what I
Herbal
was telling
Medicine.
you.
Has
Yeah,
it gone
okay.
there? Not
No.
yet. Yes. So you probably should visit there because they are the ones who are working in the space, and they have many medicines for treatment of malaria and so on. And also with there are some medicinal plants. So you probably should take him to talk to Nalamri. So
Okay. Okay.
I'll call to see if she's
I've
there.
not seen her for a long while.
She's around.
Okay.
I'll just check to see if she's here today.
Okay.
But then she works in the medicinal plant space, so with Cryptolepis, sanguinolenta, and then there's another plant species that she's working on. The name is it Crotus or Crotus? The name has escaped me.
Okay.
But she works on both of them, and those are indigenous plant species that are of medicinal value for different kinds of illnesses. And the interesting thing is she's approaching it from a plant propagation space, because the indigenous plants are there, but because they are not cultivated and they are dying in the wild, they don't have a means of growing them,
Reproducing itself.
reproducing them. So, Crotus membranaceous is the other one.
Okay.
So what she has done, her research has done has been to look at these plants and have ways of propagating it so that now it can be cultivated. Because I believe for a number of them, it was the root that you got the active ingredient from.
Okay.
And if you are harvesting the root, for some people they just pick
Rip
the
it
whole
off,
plant and take the roots. So then she was looking at a sustainable way of doing
Regenerative
that.
farming.
Yes. So
Yes.
it may be good that you talk with her because it is possible that you have similar indigenous plant
Absolutely.
species that you need a way or a method of preserving them and propagating them and so on.
Yes,
So
yes.
on your way back, since it's agric, I'll call and see if she's there. She's there, then you can meet with her also, and then
Okay.
she can fill you in on what it is that she's doing because she's like the propagation specialist.
No,
we have.
that is awesome. And so just a bit of back research, story as well. We have been, my organization is called Sankofa Flamingo. We are an NGO. Sankofa, you know what that means. Flamingo.
Sankofa.
Yeah.
Flamingo is our national bird, right? And so what it, for us, what it represents, they move as a flock. They move together as one, right? But we have been divided and conquered for too long, right? And so our intent is to go back, know where we come from, to go forward, but together.
Sure.
And I don't mean just the Bahamas or the Caribbean, all of us, as a diaspora, those on the land and not, right? And so with that, we have been doing the research in terms of why and how are we connected, firstly. And so we've published 1 or 2 books around a festival called Jonkanu. Jonkanu is one of those things that during slavery was brought to the Bahamas and has become our #1 festival.
Okay.
But the reality is we forgot what it means. We forgot what is the purpose of Jonkanu. It's become a commercialized event that now tourists come and they just dance, but they know nothing of the history in it. Right? So our organization has been steeped in research and history. And then now that we've done that, we've got the attention of the Prime Minister, we've got attention of a couple of officials. Again, I'm not a political person at all. I could care less. I'm saying I could care less about the politics part of it. I'm an economist and I'm a humanist.
Okay.
You know, and I want to reshape what is the economics of what we do in the first place. Right? Because our system right now is currently exploit, extract, export. We're still in that space. So we need to change that entirely by us demanding our own food processing, our own food development, what we want to do with that.
Okay.
Right? So this is initial conversation, initial greeting with you guys. I have persons at the university. He would have met with one of our professors. He was here.
Okay.
So we're going to initially start connecting you all with that. We have a group of students from the university actually coming in October.
Okay.
Next month. So I would like to bring them in, this is the first initial component part of that year.
Sure.
But I mean, in terms of product development, explain to me a little bit more in that space. What do you do with that here?
Okay, so in my own area, I'm interested in our local foods, and it covers the whole range: fruits, vegetables, dairy, legumes, roots, tubers, cereals. So once it is food and it's local, I'm interested in it and looking at adding value, so value addition. So I've been working in the product development space, let's say, for the past 13 years.
Okay.
And it's mainly been moving from ideation to concepts or prototypes.
Yes.
And now we are trying to move from the prototypes to looking at commercialization. So commercializing our own ideas and then also helping people who have ideas but do not have prototypes, helping them to develop and create prototypes of their own, and then helping move them on to the commercialization space.
Oh man.
So that is what we've been doing all this while. So we do have, we've done many things in these past years, just like prototypes we worked on, I think maybe more than 40 or so.
Hey, wow.
Things that we've done. But you see, we haven't moved the next step. So the next step is where we are at now. Like, how do we commercialize, and how do we also support people who have ideas but don't know how to move it onto an actual prototype? And then once they have a prototype, then move it to commercialization, like scale up and so on.
That. Oh, so the other component that I do is logistics. I've been in logistics for the last 15 years, right? Reason why I went into that space specifically because we could talk and talk amongst ourselves all we want, but if we can't move the stuff around, I mean in region now, between the Caribbean and Africa, if we can't move the stuff around and we still stuck in ideation production, but then there's no expansion, there's no growth in that.
Yeah.
Right? And so with the product development, we want to figure out like how to get the products, but then build out the export part of it. We build out the market.
Like the supply chain.
Correct.
And value chain.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wanted to pull up. I have a program, product development program. Give me 1 second to pull it up. And it's essentially just what you're talking. How do we take the idea into commercialization, right? So the program essentially we bring 15 people. I mean, thank you. Already have the program developed out, right? So I'll show it to you real quick what it is that. 1 second. There are so many.
How did your grass cutter talent in?
It went well. We have to go back to it, and like I said, all these things we've developed prototypes. So now we are just going back to things and then polishing them up and looking at how do we commercialize.
Okay.
Because you know the university has a grass cutter farm at Liprek. Yes. So I've spoken to Dr. Is it Charles?
Adinyo?
Yes, Adinyo. And before, like that, they should supply us. They should give us the animals. But most of the time, you say that they are doing. You say that they are doing experimental.
The numbers are not.
Yeah. So we need the numbers, and once you have the numbers.
And so you could peruse through it, right? So the exchange, I mean the program, it would have been over the course of 2 weeks. We bring persons who have again ideas from the Bahamas, and then persons from here who have ideas as well. We take it to there, right? But I think that being close to America has availed us is figuring out commercialization a little bit better. That's one that they have drilled into us. So I think we can lend some assistance with that, but at the same time, the connectivity to food I think is a lot more here. So that's why we need to get there. So within the program we want to do a hackathon.
Okay.
So we sit down, they come with the idea, they sit with experts. We be able to take them to places where they grow the food, where they process the food, where they add value to the food, and then after those first 7 days, they sit down with some of the professors here and they actually go through the ideation up to the minimal viable product. And then we present it as a symposium at the end of the program.
Sure.
And that's that continues maybe every quarter. I mean every quarter throughout the year. And with the intent that we come together with, you say you have 40 at this point, within a year we could have maybe 10 to 20 products that the Caribbean or the Bahamas and Ghanaians have created that could go on to the world stage. It adds value, but then it creates economic value at the same time too. One thing I'd like to do, I'd like to make the America our consumer. Yes, we consume too much from them. They need to be our consumers, and not just from the raw materials. They have taken advantage of.
Don't get much.
No, they have taken advantage of the raw materials part of it. So now we come together to add the value to the products and make them our consumers now.
So it's a good proposal. I just plans to make sense. I mean, when you're ready, you can send it over. We can also add input.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, it's excellent ideas, and beyond this, we need to now, after having the ideas and the prototypes, to actually
Move on to
produce
commercial.
it. Yeah.
That is the other thing I want to do here. So I mean, I've kind of officially moved here at this point. I just explained to him. I just had my first daughter born by a Ghanaian, so she's Ghanaian. And so I'm going to be here for a good while, right? And I want to add to the processing. So I intend to develop some processing plants here that, through packaging or whatnot, and then we export. Maybe if not the final product, but get it to a point of semi-production. We send it to the Bahamas, to the Caribbean. They add more value, and then we package, and then we sell it to the United States. So what further in some of the development that we have done here with Sankofa Flamingo, we have been able to have a sister city program officially created in the western region, So we now sister cities with Princess Town, and then Freeport in the Bahamas, right? And so what that has also created one of the ministers for Grand Bahama in the Bahamas. She had this awesome idea to develop a African Caribbean market within Freeport that sells to the rest of the world.
Okay.
So from a logistical perspective, what we're going to do is now we're going to work with Ghanaians, West Africans to develop a product, a semi-finished product. We send it to a point like Barbados, adds value, it goes up the Caribbean chain. When it gets to now, because the Bahamas is at the top of the Caribbean, Barbados is at the bottom.
Okay.
So it moves to the Caribbean islands, adding value. It comes to the Bahamas, we package it, and then we sell it to the rest of the world, to the market. That's the plan, that's the intent. Right?
So it was a product development that your name came into mind, and I decided to bring him.
Okay, sure, thank you. So yes, there are a number of things. Some you might be able to do and finish it here, others too you can go and finish it out there. It just depends on what the particular product is.
So that's the first start then. That's the first. I have a contact then, so we'll go speak with the herbal professors. What I'm going to do then, I wanted to actually have one or two of the professors in on a call here, but I'm going to arrange a call that we can now begin developing how that's going to happen. Now, one of the major things is, of course, is funding to make it happen. Again, I'm not government oriented, so I'm looking for the government to provide this money from us. I believe private sector has an interest in this and would bring the finances that we need to make this happen. So this is part why I want to document it as well. Part of my profession is marketing and media as well. So you have to and I'm not going to leave to nobody to market nothing for us anymore. We cannot be allowing anybody to be marketing our things anymore. Hands-on has to be from us entirely. So from the whole entire part of it, gamut, we're going to be controlling. So this is again why I wanted to document it. So I appreciate